It's your boy Big Mar and my good friend Mr. G Lee. Oh, wrong way. G Leland. How you doing, man?
Yeah, you were the right way the first time, and I'm doing good.
I'm looking on my screen, it's going the other way, but hey,
Hey, I'm
listen,
doing
man.
good, doing good. Another exciting week in the neighborhood.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, man. It's been very interesting around these spaces, man, and around what's going on in the space. I think since last time, some more of these exchanges have fallen. I think you was telling me a little story, man, about
Well,
yeah.
it's
Tell me about that again, man.
last year I was at a party. Our neighborhood is a small neighborhood, about 70 homes, and they do events, sometimes down at the clubhouse. And I was down there, and one of my neighbors came up to me, a guy about 35 years old, and said, "Hey," because he knew I was into Bitcoin, I guess, since he lived across the street. I just want to let you know I own some Bitcoin. I'm a Bitcoiner too. And I said, well, good, good. Where are you buying it at? Keeping it as well. I buy it from Voyager. That's where I keep it. And I said, I've never known anyone who buys from Voyager actually or keeps their Bitcoin there. You may want to get it off of there, And he said, well, my friend is really into this, really into this. And he's my former fraternity brother, and he's the one that told me about it and told me to use Voyager. So I'm going to stick with him because he really knows his stuff. I said, okay. So about 10 days ago, I saw him out in the yard, and I said, out in the across the street, and I said, hey, do you still have that Bitcoin on Voyager? He goes, yeah, that's where I keep it at. I said, well, you might want to take it off of there. I'm hearing bad rumors about Voyager. He said, okay, I'll check into it. And then I saw him last Friday, I guess. I said, hey, did you get that Bitcoin off of Voyager? And he goes, no, not yet. I'm going to do it in the next few days. And I said, well, it's too late. They've already quit letting people take their Bitcoin off of there. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, they're not letting anyone remove their Bitcoin. And he goes, oh, okay. And he just walked away like, well, there's nothing to it. I mean, but that's the kind of guy he is. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens now that I think they've actually filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah. Right. I want to see too, because did you see what the FDIC said? The
No,
bank, yeah, they said that they're not covered. Their deposits, their customers' deposits aren't covered. So it means that basically the bank looks at those assets as being the company's assets, and if they went Chapter 11, then those assets, of course, have to be used to pay off the bank's debts. So,
well, sure, because it's the bank. I mean,
exactly.
they don't care. They don't care about all those peons that had their savings there.
Oh
They got to take care of that bank first.
See, and this is why we say get your freaking coins and everything off of these exchanges. You might use the exchange to get some Bitcoin, but get them bad boys off the exchange as fast as possible into some type of cold storage. Even if you get it off into some like warm wallet, like a Exodus or something, it don't matter. Just make sure, no, but not even Exodus. Make sure you own the keys. Let's put it that way. Let's just make sure that you have the keys to your funds to get them out of these exchanges where you don't have access to the keys. No keys, no cheese. Shout out to Bitcoin Zay for that one.
Well, the Trace Mayer, who is gone into oblivion wherever he's gone, he used to have a pretty good thing that he did the first week in January, I think, every year until he disappeared, about getting not your keys, not your Bitcoin, getting them off. It was a day where everybody was supposed to remove their Bitcoin off exchanges. And that was a pretty good deal. Not that I ever really had to worry about it because I already had mine off. But I think a lot of the new people that came in, that there was so much conversation about it on that day or the week leading up to that day, that a lot of them took heed and removed their Bitcoin. We probably need to get that going again at the first of every year.
Maybe it's the Bitcoin Roomies that have to push it, man. Maybe we
need to start that. Not your Bitcoin, not your keys. Pick a day in January and start getting that out there, because that was a good thing that he did. Was getting that done. But this is the year I was telling you before the show. Also, 2017, 18 was the year of the default of the ICOs. This is going to be the year of the default of the exchanges. I thought it was going to be the fault of the
NFTs, right?
But now it's turning out to be the year of the exchange fault.
And it's crazy, but here's what's so funny. The funny part is most of them are falling victim to the fact that they got into DeFi. This whole DeFi movement, these Ponzi schemes, basically. And a lot of these exchanges were offering yield based on these Ponzi schemes. And of course, when the Ponzi schemes dry up and the market's going down, what happens to all of their, what happens to all of their capital? It's out the door too. So yeah, that rehypothecation. So you got Celsius, BlockFi, a bunch of them. 3AC, which was a fund that wound up being over collateralized to the point where they got killed really bad. It's just real bad, man. It's not a good look out here. And I think that we just have to continue to educate people to let them know, like, listen, if these companies are rehypothecating, so what is rehypothecation? Rehypothecation means they take your coins, they take your money, and they put it in another market to make yield on it and give you a portion of it back. So they rehypothecate, they're taking from there and using it somewhere else. And that using it somewhere else got a lot of these exchanges into trouble. And FTX is out here buying them up.
I think that, and I've had this conversation with these people before when I've seen events. I think they take your Bitcoin, you give them your Bitcoin. Yep. It's no longer yours. So you give them your Bitcoin for a little bit of interest. Like Bitcoin's not making enough money over time. You need that. You need that extra 10% because going up, 100% a year on average just ain't enough. And then they use your Bitcoin and loan that out to people who are going to use it to short Bitcoin and make your Bitcoin go down in value. It makes no sense. They all say, we don't loan it to anyone who's going to short it. How do you know what they're going to do with it? I mean, first of all, do they got a question, a checkbox? Are you going to short Bitcoin with this? Right. I mean, what's the deal? It seems to me like you're like costing yourself more money than you're making. And really, can they give more interest than anyone in the world can give? Are they that good? Obviously not.
No, not at all. And here's the crazy part. As the price is dropping, you gave them your Bitcoin. There becomes liquidation. Like as the price is going down, you start getting to these liquidation numbers where they basically can take your Bitcoin from you. So not only do they take your initial Bitcoin, give it to people who are going to negatively affect the market, but as the price goes down, they can just keep the rest of your Bitcoin that you got on there. So it's a lose situation. Listen, Bitcoin is easy. You just get it and you hold on to it. That's it. Matter of fact, I'm adding a new thing. I'm going to go back to what we used to say, Gary, because I think one of the things that we miss out on is we forget to put Bitcoin into the ecosystem. And so back in the day when we were, first starting out, there was a practice that we did where if we spent Bitcoin, we buy the same amount back, which means we don't lose our amount. What my thing is that I'll say it, do it a different way. Get people to take Bitcoin and immediately buy some Bitcoin in your Cash App and send them Bitcoin. So they'll have Bitcoin too. Because I think we just need to continue to keep pushing it that direction the way we used to. I remember when I met people with Bitcoin, they would ask you, do you have a wallet? Then if you get your wallet, they'll give you some Bitcoin. We've moved away from that, man. We moved away from the love and everything like that. And I told somebody the other day, matter of fact, I made a post on Twitter. I said, during the love Bitcoin maximalism, when we were loving Bitcoin maximalists, the price went from 0 to 19,000. For the toxic Bitcoin maximalists, the price went from 19 to 20. So it just shows you there's way more growth in sharing the love, man, and helping people out and teaching people about it, man. That's how I came into the game, and I saw it grow rapidly. And now we in this mode where everybody's like, oh, just hold on to it. Don't talk to nobody. Don't share it with nobody. Don't do anything. And I think it goes against the principles of abundance at that point. And I think we need to get back to that love of Bitcoin maximalism. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just have a little bit on your Cash App and send it to people. You don't have to give them a ton. People didn't give them a ton in the olden days. When they gave them a Bitcoin or two, it was only a couple dollars. Right. It wasn't like they were giving them $20,000. Right. So if you're worried about your stash, just buy a little bit. Buy $20 or $30 worth and give them a couple bucks. You don't have to give them a lot.
Right. It's so crazy, Gary. I used to give my friends $10 worth of Bitcoin. And it's funny because we brought that practice over into the Black Bitcoin Billionaire early on. We were giving new people $10 worth of Bitcoin. Some of those $10 worth of Bitcoin are worth thousands of dollars now. The money I gave to those people back in the day is worth thousands of dollars. And so when you think about that, it's like you don't have to share a whole lot, but it at least gets people in the game and get them to understand what's going on. So I definitely wonder,
Well, before I really got into Bitcoin before I understood when I first got into it, I went to an event and they gave me $10 worth of Dash.
Listen, I used to get everything. I told somebody the only XRP I've ever had is XRP that was given to me. I got 1,000 XRP a long time ago. At the very first Bitcoin, it was a Bitcoin conference. It was the Texas Bitcoin conference, and I got 1,000 XRP. Only XRP I ever had.
Texas Bitcoin conference.
Yeah,
now, that's the least Bitcoin conference I've ever been to. That's one of the reasons I started BitBlock Boom. I went to that, and don't get me wrong, I like Paul and I can't remember his wife's name that run it. They're real nice people. But I went to that, and like the first year, maybe there were a couple of Bitcoin companies there. The second time I went, I don't know if one speaker spoke about Bitcoin. I mean, that's the least Bitcoin conference I've ever seen with the name Bitcoin in it.
I went in 2014, so there wasn't wasn't many other things out there then. XRP had just come out. Matter of fact, at that conference, it was a hackathon, storage coin. That's what they built at the conference, was storage coin. So yeah, man, it was very interesting. Yeah, and everybody, listen, in the comments on Facebook, we have some people that are basically trying to act like they're me. Don't listen to any of them. I'm not typing any comments. You don't see my fingers moving. So there we go. But yeah, so we talked about what's going on in the exchanges. I think that's why I kind of started moving toward this. But on Twitter, we are seeing that people are going back and forth about, is Bitcoin maximalism dead? Now, we see Nick Carter. He's kind of saying it's dead. Of course.
I wanted to get into that. I'm glad you brought that up, because him and Swan guy Corey.
Yeah, Corey.
Oh man. So, and I haven't been keeping up with it. So give me an update as to what is happening here, what's happened, where we're at, where we came from, and where we're at. So I just know there's a war going on there.
Yeah. So evidently Nick Carter either wrote an article or said some stuff about Bitcoin maximalism is dying because of what's going on right now in the system. And he doesn't think it's good, with the price going down and all of that. This whole Bitcoin maximalism is dying. And when you talk to Pete Rizzo, which is our co-author in the book, let me go on and put the book up here while we're talking about it, Bitcoin and the American Dream. Our co-author, Pete Rizzo, wrote an article about long-lived Bitcoin maximalism, right? I think the truth is that I don't think people care about Bitcoin maximalism that much. I think people, like for me, it's the difference between being a Bitcoin maximalist and being someone who is just inherently a toxic Bitcoin maximalist just to be toxic. Those are the things, and that's what I was talking about earlier. It's like you can be a Bitcoin maximalist, not be a jerk. That's my whole thing. Yeah. People are like, well, being a jerk is what's keeping people from all of these coins. Is it really? Like the crap coin market is as big as it's ever been. Freaking NFT market is big as ever been. And guess what? You exist. So clearly what you're doing is not helping nobody, right? Like if you're going, and this is just my approach, if you're going to go about and educate people about it, come with a spirit of meekness and teach the people why they shouldn't be in it instead of just yelling at them, cussing them out and saying they some idiots or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree.
Crazy part.
I agree. I pretty much am a Bitcoin maximalist, but when you really get down to it, I don't care what you do.
Right.
I mean, if you want to throw your money, if you want to go down the street and light cigarettes with $100 bills, that's your money. You can do what you want to with it. If you want to buy Dogecoin, that's your money. You can do what you want with it. I just don't want anything to do with it, and I don't want you telling me
that it's right. Right. I think that's my biggest thing, Gary, is that, again, like I said, I've seen us go from, I wasn't in at zero. Let me get that all the way clear. But I was in at very low prices when I first learned about Bitcoin. And I've seen it grow that way. And the conferences were a lot different. And we wasn't doing a whole lot of Twitter fighting and all of that kind of stuff back then. And then we got into this number go up. And so I think it wound up becoming a war because it became about the finances. The early people were about freedom. They were libertarians. They were anarchists. They were like trying to overthrow the government. Like those are the people that I came in with. And those are the people that kind of attached to me. When we got to the number go up, it started becoming more about the money. So then you start having these battles of, we got to knock all of these people off. And it's like, no, this is what I always say. If you really believe Bitcoin is truth, it doesn't need you. It doesn't need any of us. If we think that Bitcoin and what it does and how it works is truth, it doesn't need us to validate it. It doesn't need us to cuss somebody out or fight anybody because it's going to win anyway. If you finally understand Bitcoin, you realize that. And now I think that's the reason why I call a lot of these guys yellow belt maxis, Gary, because the people who've been in the dojo for a while understand it. we're not going to sit here and fight somebody for, like you just said, you're not going to fight somebody for spending their own money on what they want to spend the money on.
That doesn't matter to me. That helped me one way or another. It's not like I get it if they don't spend it. So, yeah, you worked hard for your money. You can do what you work. Like Donna Summer says, she works hard for her money. You can do what you want with it. It's your money. Use it when you want to. I don't care how you use it.
Right. But I think that's going to always be this argument going back and forth. Because, of course, we have the people on one side who are the, they're more of a freedom type people. And then you have people on the other side who are more virtue signaling, like they use it as a virtue signaling type thing. Like, hey, I'm a virtuous person because I'm trying to keep people away from these crap coins. But the thing is, anybody who even knows me, Gary, knows that every morning I'm in the room with these guys that I would call DGNs. They would call themselves DGNs. And I'm always talking to them about the principles of Bitcoin without making them feel like they crap. Like it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to fight everybody, man. But that's my opinion. I mean, there are some people who are just tuned that way. There are people that are just tuned that way.
The whole thing with Corey and Nick is because Nick said Bitcoin maximalism is bad, and then Corey came back, and now they're just going at it.
Yeah, he said it's dying. And then I saw Corey going at it with Jason Williams. So it's just like all of this infighting amongst people that everybody knows in the Bitcoin space right now over nothing, really. Like at the end of the day, it's really over nothing. And I would love to have a conversation. Listen, Gary, I told him, I said, look, Nick, why don't you come through Black Bitcoin Billionaire? Let's talk about this death to the Maxis, the death of Maxis. And somebody called me thirsty. And I'm like, thirsty on these. That's what I wanted to say, Gary, but I didn't really, I kind of held back from saying it.
So, Lamar, if I send 0.02 Bitcoin to this address, you're going to give me
man.
It's gone. What happened?
That's what I'm saying. Don't even say it. Don't even break them up, man. Don't even break them up.
I thought it was bad that I just had all those posts on Twitter and stuff already that I'm always having to knock off. Twitter, Instagram, especially. Right. But now I didn't know they were getting into the live feed business. I mean,
yes, you don't understand, Gary. I have been on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. I have been cloned on every platform.
Same here. I'm cloned everywhere. I just haven't done anything live for them to get in, I guess, of the live. So I didn't realize that was happening. Because I have pinned at everything I use that I'll never ask you to send me, hoping that will help in explaining. But man, it's really bummed about that because someone's getting ripped off somewhere. Someone's fault. Because I've had several people contact me and say, "Hey, I just want to make sure before I go through with this that you've been messaging me." And I go, I'm sorry, I haven't messaged you, and I'm really feel like going, I don't even know who you are, But I'm going, no, I haven't messaged you. And they go, oh my God, I was so close to sending 0.02 Bitcoin to you. I've already loaded it to my Cash App, and I thought I would just check before I did it. And so what I'm concerned about is I'm going to be somewhere a couple of years from now, just walking in, minding my own business. Some guy's going to come up to me and go, hey, you owe me $5,000. I'm going, what in the hell are you talking about? Because they clone your site. It's even when you make a post that appears on their site, like on their version in seconds. So, yeah, he's going to walk up to me and tell me I owe him $5,000. And I'm going to say, I don't even know what you're talking about. And he's not going to believe me.
It's so crazy because here's the thing about it, right? Because it's programmatic, because they're using bots to do it, of course. They'll throw in other bots. So they'll put yours at the top, and then all these other bots that come in right under with the same, like, oh yeah, I did make so much. And it's like, oh my gosh, if you don't leave me alone. But evidently, here's the thing. People are falling for it. Because why would they keep doing it if people weren't falling for it, right?
Yeah. Somebody's falling for it. I just hope it's no one that I know. Actually, someone said they defriended me because I was messaging him so much.
It's crazy.
I've never sent you a message ever in my life.
Never. It says, you connect freight. Shout out to everybody on YouTube and Facebook watching this. You connect freight said, that's why I love BBB, educate without hostility. Yes, we try to educate without all the hostility. There's no reason to have hostility.
Speaking about educating, let's switch the subject up here. You posted something, a new site this week. Let's go over that. Something happening in North Carolina. Let's tell everybody about that because that's a pretty exciting.
Man. Well, thank you, Gary, for that segue. But yes, we have it's up now. It's if you go to blackbitcoinbillionaire.com/blackout, blackbitcoinbillionaire.com/blackout, what you'll find that the blackout is ready. That we have our website up for the actual Bitcoin conference that is coming to Charlotte. And so if everybody who's watching, y'all can see this. This is the Blackout Conference. You saw a sneak peek last week. We were on with Gary, but you can come here, buy you some tickets. You might even see somebody you recognize on the pictures. But you can quickly come in and buy you some tickets right here on the site. If you see,
hey, there's me.
That's old Gary. And it's real easy. We have early bird tickets. You basically it's $199 until July 31st, and then it's going to go up to $299. There's a VIP ticket for $274, and on July 31st, it's going to go up to $420. So make sure you get your tickets.
What's the difference between those two? What's the difference between those two?
So the $199 is just pure blackout general admission. It means you get to come to the speaking engagements and everything, and then also the family game night. So we're having a family game night on Friday night afterwards. Again, shout out to BitBlock Boom. My man Gary here showed me the entire way that I wanted to do a conference, a very small, intimate conference. So shout out to him for the inspiration. And then the BBB VIP gets you there's a meet and greet on Friday and a kickback, so you can come meet some of the mods, hang out, get some food in a very private location, and get to meet the people individually without having to try to find them throughout the conference. And then of course, you still got all the free sessions on Saturday, and there will be food on Saturday as well. So when you come to the conference, you will be fed. It's in the Embassy Suite. So anybody who knows Embassy Suites knows that they have an amazing breakfast every morning. So you'll be able to get really great breakfast and then walk on up to the conference. So we're trying to keep everything in-house as close as possible so that we can have a good time and hang out with one another. It's going to be a bunch of great information, great times, but mostly it's for networking. And so you can meet other people in the industry, and it's a way for us all to get together and kind of start building ideas. And it's the greatest time to build, right? When the markets are down, this is when you build. This is when you go out and you find stuff. So make sure you come get your ticket. And then here's the other thing: if you are one of the Miami Takeover token holders, so some of y'all have the token from Miami. When you got into that, if you come in and you register with that same phone number, what'll happen is you'll get $50 off all the tickets, whatever ticket. You'll get a one-time at checkout. You'll get $50 off your ticket. So make sure if you have that Miami thing, it's another reason why to come to the Black Bitcoin Billionaire events, because guess what? We kind of stack them. If you support, we try to make sure we give back as much as possible. So shout out to everybody who came to the Miami event. Now because you came to the Miami event, you get $50 off. So thanks for that segue, Gary. I wasn't even thinking about it, my brother.
Hey, well, it's a good-looking site and a good-looking event. You know, last time I went to Charlotte was 1975, I think. I saw the Rolling Stones play there, I think.
Oh, man.
So I haven't been there in a long time. I'm sure that city has changed a lot since I was there.
Oh, man. Well, that's what's up, man. So we would love to see you there. You know, you definitely got the invite, the red carpet invite. Gary, my roomie, my roommate got to get to come through. You know what I'm saying?
Well, do we have to room together, though? That's what I want to
know. No, heck no. Listen, I'm rooming with my wife. Hey.
Same here.
Exactly.
Yeah, I looked at the other day, and I'm looking at the schedule to see if I can make it. I thought it was like the Monday after BitBlock Boom, but it's the Friday after BitBlock Boom, I think.
Yeah, so, it's like the second, third, and the fourth.
Yeah, so we got BitBlock Boom, and then the week after your event, we go to Paris for like 7 days. So it's kind of like a busy time for me. So we're going to see.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
That working out. See what we can do making that working out. Hey,
somebody said Rolling Stones, great group, Gary. They said great group.
Well, back when I was a kid, that's all we listened to was the Stones and the Beatles. And music's changed a lot since I was a kid, and I don't listen to music anymore. So, all I listen to now are podcasts about Bitcoin, it seems like,
Right. Look, somebody said, can I post the, let me get this up there for the people. Let me post the Blackout banner, and then I'll put it in the chat as well in the comments for everybody so y'all can have it, get access to it. And here's the thing: you buy it, and we made it really, really simple. You buy the ticket just using the text message. So you send the text message in, it'll send you back the invoice. You pay that invoice, and it'll send you a ticket directly to your phone. So we make it really simple. Really.
Why don't you just let them? Sounds like a lot to go through to me. Why don't they just push a button and buy it like they would a hamburger or a cat?
Because we got to tie it to their token. It's the token.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you think about it. You usually have to type in an email, all of that. It's way easier. You just.
I guess it is. I guess it is. Yeah.
And you can hit. And here's what's so crazy: if you're on a phone, I'll put it back up again. If you're on a phone, this button right here, you can just click that button and it'll automatically go to. It's just like it'll go straight to your SMS. It's that button right there. Send SMS. It'll go straight to it.
I need to check that out then.
Yeah, you listen. This is what happens when you're a programmer. I can build stuff that everybody might not be able to get.
But I'd have a hard time using that since they've got 4 optional tickets. They can buy one or all of them. I mean, I'd have to have a lot of combinations. I'd have to have Thursday night, Saturday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Saturday, Thursday, Monday. It'd be so many combinations.
You can program it though, where you can basically like let them pick where they are and then still send them an invoice with all of those items on it. I could program it like that. It's just that we only have a couple of choices, so it makes it easier for me to do it that way.
Yeah. Because there's so many options that I've had a hard time with that. And my people hate it who work chicken, because then they come in and they only bought Thursday, Saturday, but now they want a Friday. So the whole line gets bogged down. So they don't tell them another ticket because they weren't able to figure that out or didn't know they wanted the ticket. Something to do on Friday. So that's another story though. Okay. So I will look at that and see how that works. I'm going to get it on my phone.
Are you all sold out, Gary, at Big Block Boom?
No. We still have a few tickets left because we have a much bigger venue. And, we've actually priced the tickets higher as we got closer to selling out because there's a shortage of tickets. So that slows down. Yeah, that slows down the sales also.
Right. So Big Block Boom. Since we had a pause for station identification, we need to talk about Big Block Boom too. So go to bigblockboom.com and you can get a true Bitcoin conference. He says network with fellow Bitcoiners in Austin, Texas. There you go. This is not. Look, you see this? You see this? This is not a crap coin event, NFT or blockchain event. We talk about Bitcoin, and more Bitcoin.
There are a lot of people out there like me that just want to talk about Bitcoin. They don't want some guy coming up to them saying, you really need to invest in Shiba or XR. They just don't even want to hear it because they're not going to do it. Right. And, the rules are a bit Block Boom. The first time someone complains on you, and they come up to me and complain. I go over to you and I say, hey, you need to quit talking about whatever you're talking about. And then the second time I ask you to come out in the hallway and we say, hey, you really need to quit talking or else I'm going to have to kick you out. And the third time you have to leave with no refund.
You out of here.
So that's like actually it was on the rules page, on the facts page for a long time. So now it's just kind of the unwritten, but people they come up to me. And then like one night at a party, 2 people came up to me within 10 minutes. Said, this guy over here was talking about, I can't remember what it was. So I went up to him and said, hey, dude, you can't talk about that stuff here. And he goes, oh, I hadn't. I said, that's BS. 2 people came up to me and pointed you out. He goes, he goes, I'm sorry. I didn't think it was that. You must have. You just lied to me. So don't do it anymore or we'll have to kick you out. Right. So we're pretty strong on that there. This is, there are a lot of conferences to go to if you want to talk about the 19,000 cryptocurrencies. There's a ton of them.
He said, don't come to mine.
There's an Ethereum conference just for Ethereum. I'm sure there's an XRP conference for the XRP army. I'm sure there's a Dogecoin conference somewhere, but and then any of those will let you talk about anything you want to, but not at all.
Well, Gary, hold on. Look, I'm going to try this. This will be the first time I try this. We have somebody trying to come up on stage. So let's see if we can get them up and see if they can talk, and I'll let them speak through my mic. Let's see. Hey, what's going on, BitStop? How you doing, BitStop? I'm
good.
Doing well, man. How you doing, man? What brings you on stage today with the Bitcoin Roomies? Oh yeah, man. We trying to stay busy.
I am.
So it's it's our I think it's our 3rd or 4th bear market now. So it's nothing new, man. I heard a lot of you guys. I heard you guys talking about kind of the Bitcoin Maxis stuff in the beginning, and whether or not that's good. And I agree with a lot of what you guys both said with respect to maximalism and I think that like there is a certain level where it does be kind of, it kind of can become like just, counterproductive if you're like too toxic, or if you are just basically, and you're not going to change anybody's opinion or mind if you're just plain rude to them. And, I think that education is paramount. I think it's like, I don't know about you guys, but when I first showed up to Bitcoin, it was like 2013, and there was like 12 choices. You had like Feather Coin, World Coin, or whatever, Prime Coin. I know you guys remember some of those old, like
Litecoin, yeah,
Terra Coin,
Name Coin.
So you only had like, it was Bitcoin, and you had like 11, 12 other choices. And back then it was difficult to get Bitcoin. Coinbase, you had to wait like 30 days to get an exchange account. So while I was waiting, I was like, all right, I'll just mine some Prime Coin. And, I was on Beer Pool, and back then, like, just kind of playing around with some of these other alts that, believe it or not, like some of the core developers like actually worked on and even forked. Like, you can go back and see Luke Dash Jr., I think, or Matt Corallo working on Prime Coin, like on GitHub. And, it's just, very like, I don't think that, not everybody's journey kind of begins with Bitcoin. I think it's kind of like we need to empathize with that and understand that, like, when you show up, it's overwhelming. Like, it was overwhelming with 12 coins. I can't even imagine somebody showing up and seeing, tens of thousands of different tokens and currencies, and then, their friends telling them about this NFT or that over there. It's like your little baby turtle hatched on the beach, and, you're looking for the ocean, but everybody's shining a flashlight in your face, telling you to come this way, and it's all about avoiding the seagulls and the snakes that are kind of waiting in the sand, for you to make the wrong kind of, move towards the wrong direction. So I think, my kind of like, again, agreeing with what you guys said, my sentiment is like, Bitcoiners, like, be empathetic to kind of like the fact that, like, all roads will lead back to Bitcoin eventually. So you don't need to be like, just like too toxic, or, tell everybody that they have to eat it, a ribeye if they want to be a true Bitcoiner or whatever. I think it's kind of important, it's important to realize, like, look, they'll find their way back to Bitcoin, whether it be this cycle or next cycle, they'll get there. What you need to do is kind of like provide, like, just kind of like an open mind, but education is paramount in that. Like, if you can teach them a little bit about Bitcoin, they can have a reference point to compare and contrast everything else it is that they're doing. And that's really like how I would kind of approach these things as somebody who's, been in the space since, 2013, and I've built multiple businesses, and, we still have a business like BitStop we started in 2013 with, one Bitcoin ATM in Miami. As you remember, Lamar, we were side by side back in those days.
Right.
And we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot of cycles, and these bear markets are healthy. I'll tell you right now that what I'm seeing is that, with the price down, at least from our perspective, like, in the last 2 months, we are hitting all-time highs in volumes across our network. So this is healthy. Like, there's a new class of buyers coming in, and what you should do is not be dismissive of, like, their perspective, but you should be like, okay, well, that's cool. Enjoy that. But let me tell you something about, like, what are the most important things about, like, what you should be learning in the space, which is, hey, write down a 12-word seed, and, understand that not your keys, not your coins, et cetera, et cetera. Those kind of like basic fundamental principles, I think, is really where you should focus your efforts. And then they'll find their way to Bitcoin one way or the other. I've always told everybody, the best way to get somebody into Bitcoin is to not really talk or try to convince them too much about Bitcoin. The more you try, the more you're probably going to push most people away, because it just kind of comes off like, like this kind of pressure or force kind of like, thinking. And I think that it's just, again, counterproductive. And I just kind of wanted to point that out. So, again, I agree. And that's kind of my perspective, like, in terms of like, kind of, winning people on our side and guiding them somewhat. Because look, I mean, I mess around with like Rare Pepes. Like, I'm an old Bitcoiner, and if you're an old Bitcoiner, you remember Rare Pepes in 2016, 2015. There's a lot of Bitcoin culture in Rare Pepes, and they're an NFT, and I find them fun. Do I tell everybody, like, put your life savings in Rare Pepes? No. But if like somebody's having fun with NFTs or crypto art or whatever, I say, look, that's okay. Treat it like any art piece. Like, you're not going to put your entire like family's net worth in like a piece of art on the wall, at your home. you'll buy it if you have the disposable income to do so, and be prepared for that thing to be very illiquid for quite some time.
Listen, the way I look at it is always illiquid. Like, that's the way I look at it. Yeah, somebody may want to buy it, but if you're gonna buy something, just buy it because you like it. Like the beautiful art in Gary's background, just buy it because you like it. You'll put it over your mantle. Look at it like that. Quit thinking about it as a financial instrument. It's gonna be illiquid, and the only person that's gonna come back and buy it is some person at the yard sale later on when you get a new picture. That's the way I look at all this stuff.
That's according to what level of art you buy. On that, I agree to you on one thing though. For sure, I agree on everything that you said. But I found that when I really used to try to convince people to buy Bitcoin back in the day, and I was like, really, because when you first get into it and you first understand it, you're kind of like a religious zealot, wanting to enable and help everybody and save everybody from the coming doom. And I find people would ask me, they just plain out would ask me after a few minutes, and how do you make money off of this? So people, when you push it like that, they think that you actually have some financial gain involved here.
Right.
Because not that you're like really just saying, hey, I want to share this information with you, because you're pushing too hard. So I agree with you on that fact, is that they'll sit there and push it too hard. And I agree 100% on, like, there's no reason to get mad at people because they don't like steak. I mean, or they, I don't understand NFTs. I have to admit, I would much rather have a painting on my wall than a picture on my phone. But that doesn't mean that people shouldn't have the right to do it. As I told Lamar, it's your money. Do whatever you want with it. And you might end up being right for all I know. I don't think you're going to end up being right, but you might. I certainly have made a hell of a lot of errors in my 67 years on investments. So I'm no champ at it.
Really listening to too much music these days, but you find yourself listening to Bitcoin podcasts. I find I was like kind of like laughing internally because I find it literally like myself, like I always listen to Bitcoin podcasts periodically and just to catch up on a few like episodes that I think I would like. But in a bear market, that like goes up 2 or 3-fold when it comes to, podcasts and Twitter Spaces, etc. And I've been seeing like Twitter Space turn out lately, like just in ridiculous numbers, just because like people are trying to find ways to pass the time and, kind of like, get different perspectives and, what does everybody think, whether it be price or whether it be fundamentals or, then you have the, some of the Twitter drama, whether it be like, some of the recent Nick Carter stuff or whatever. So it gets kind of juicy and entertaining. And ultimately, like, I just found that pretty funny, Gary, because I'm literally like right there with you in terms of, podcasts and, Twitter Spaces, and I got to tell my wife to kind of just like, I got to apologize to her because I'm like, sometimes I just go down these rabbit holes, and she's like, "Hey, you haven't paid any attention to me." So
I understand that. Sure.
Hey, look, man. Listen, we would love for you to come out to the Blackout Conference as well, though, man. Like, real talk, man. We would love to see you out at the Blackout Conference because it's real close to Miami. It's right up the road in Charlotte. A real quick flight. You should come through, man.
Didn't I meet you in Orlando at a conference? I was just trying to.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure. Okay, I want to make sure who it was, Lamar. Because he's got a nice table set up with all these giveaways and stuff.
He should be at your conference.
Listen, Gary, there is exactly. He should be at our conference. I like that, Gary.
Guys,
you just sold for us.
I'm still recovering from the Miami conference.
We need
y'all had a big booth there. Y'all had a huge booth there.
Yeah, it was the tour and the trade show and the conferences, like, we've been big on it, especially like in the past. We went pretty big this year on the Bitcoin Miami conference. Huge booth there for anybody who was there. Like, we were right next to the volcano and so forth with our Bitcoin ATMs. But I just had a newborn like literally about 2 months ago, so I've just been like daddy duty 5,000 like lately. So since I've usually been the one to go to these things and kind of like get it done, it's been I've been putting off the conferences the last couple of months just because trying to kind of slow it down just a little bit for these next couple of months while I get acquainted with my new role in life. And then I want to pick it back up again. So let me know, Lamar, show me some information about the conference.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. Gary selling it for me.
I'm your wingman. I'm your wingman here, dude.
Yeah, you're the wingman. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, didn't you were supposed to come to BitBlock Boom last year, and you canceled for some reason. I mean, you didn't cancel like going, hey, I'm getting out of this. Give me a refund. You said, hey, I can't make it, and I can't remember what the deal was.
Something specific like that happened. I forgot what it was now, Gary.
No, a lot of people caught COVID at that conference.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah. You know what it was, Gary? Worried about me traveling. I think that's what it was. Not that I caught COVID, but it was something about hey, you shouldn't be, going around lately. So here I am, like 9 months, 12 months later or 10 months later, Gary. I got the kid now, and
congrats on that,
baby boy. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man.
Well, listen. Appreciate it. Well, listen, man. I appreciate you coming up, man. And listen, this is the first time we've done this, so I don't know how it's gonna play out on the video. Gary, I hope
it sounds good.
They said it does. It's going good. So look,
I don't know.
Thank y'all, man. I appreciate you hopping up. I'm gonna try to bring somebody else up real quick. Let's see if that works. Gary, you ready for the next call?
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me up, you guys.
Yes, sir. See you later, brother. Let's see.
Good to see you later, Gary. Later, Lamar.
Later, man. Let's see. Tom. I think Tom is the next one. We're going to try Tom. I don't know Tom. He said he's running for office. Let's see if Tom. What's going on, Tom? How you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. I know y'all been talking about Bitcoin all morning. I'm actually dabbling in Bitcoin mining. And I didn't know if y'all mined yourselves. I was going to ask you, but also had a question for the room as to what you believe the proper price is or an acceptable price is to be mining right now and what it will be in the future. There's a lot of discussion about this. I've had private conversations with some big miners that believe 4.5 cents a kilowatt hour is the new maximum price you should be paying, but I also look at business models all day long, and I see where some people are charging a lot more than that. Compass was charging, I think, around 8 cents plus a fee. Now, of course, they were giving people money back recently, and it was cheaper, I believe. But just what is an acceptable price for most people to be mining at? And then does it really matter if you've only got one miner at home? Are you comfortable paying a residential cost, or would you rather be in a commercial setup with the option to pay less? And as like a residential miner, what would you be willing to sign on to? What kind of price situation? But if there's just any thoughts on kilowatt per hour price in the future of mining, I just kind of wanted to pick your brains on that, and anybody else for that matter that has any thoughts on that and whatnot. So, but yeah, it's I do sell electricity for miners, and so I'm just kind of curious as to what the market is, more or less, and because I get all kinds of different opinions about this when I talk to people. When people call us, or we're talking to clients, or essentially, there's just so much debate and so much discussion. I thought I would kind of put the feelers out and see what people have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I have to answer this one because I haven't done any mining since 2017, and my electricity was free then. So once I started to pay, I quit.
I haven't mined in a long time, Gary. Like, period. I have not mined in a long time. But what I will say is if you go to NiceHash, you ever use NiceHash and use a profitability calculator there, Tom?
Yeah, I've used a couple of different ones to calculate the profitability. Yeah, there's a few different. Yeah,
because again, it all boils down to that, right? It all boils down to how efficient are your miners. If you don't have very efficient miners, then you're not going to get the same types of profits on the same, even at the same kilowatt, right? Hour, because you're not really mining efficiently enough to actually make some money. But I'm sure, because listen, back when it was about 4 months ago, I was talking to a miner, and he said about 6 cents per kilowatt hour was good. So I'm sure it's lower now with the price being lower. Like you have to be getting, you can't have, your expenses can't go up if the price is coming down on what you're actually creating, right? So yeah, I'm sure it has to be on at least under 6. And you're saying 4.5. I'm looking at this, and I'm just looking at it from the S19 Pro, which let me look at it. Let me look at S9. A lot of people got those S9s. I'm gonna look at the S9 and see. It's saying that the S9 is actually not even profitable at 5 cents per kilowatt hour. You see what I'm saying? So it's gonna have to be pretty low for miners to feel good about it. I put in 3.5 cents on the S9, and we finally got some profit of 13 cents a day on the S9.
Oh, that's
nice.
What'd you say?
That's nice. Sarcastically saying.
Yeah, no, 13 cents a day.
Okay, switch it over to S19. What is it telling you? Is it telling you 4.5, 5, 5.5?
Yeah, so I did it at S19 Pro. Here, you know what? That's funny. I can show this. For everybody who's watching, y'all can see me do this. For people who might not know, let me share this profitability calculator with you. To be kind of cool. Gary, this is brand new for everything today. We showing stuff working in real time.
I didn't know you could do all this stuff. I was going to get StreamYard. I'm really getting it now.
Yeah, so there you go. So here's the S19 Pro. I'll put in 6 cents and see what that is. So yeah, look, even at 6 cents, the S19 Pro is making you $5.42 a day.
Got it.
Based on where we are right now. So that's why I said it all comes back to the efficiency of the miner that you have. Because if it's not mining efficiently, like the S19 is not as efficient as the S9. I mean, the S9 is not as efficient as the S19. Therefore, it's 6 cents, the S19, and it's not enough hashing power. So look, if I do that 6 cents on that, you're gonna see it's a loss. So you losing 70 cents a day if you had an S9 at 6 cents. So to be in the sweet spot, it looks like you're gonna have to be probably 4 cents and below.
But but that's with the price down to what it is too. Won't that
right
change when the price goes up?
Right. Yeah, your profits will be greater, right? Price goes up, profits will be greater because a lot of times your energy costs are going to be pretty much fixed.
But as the price goes up, though, you probably have more people mining, so then the difficulty factor is going to increase too. So how much does it vary? I mean, does that keep it about the same? You'll always be.
Nah, you're right, Gary, because as the price goes up, more people come online. So, but all I'm saying is it's probably incrementally higher as the price goes up, but you'll be getting more profit. It's not like a linear thing, though. I don't think it's linear.
Yeah.
I think it's not like, okay, you from here, if the price goes here, you're going to make this much more money.
If the price goes up 20%, you're not going to make 20% more.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think it's a linear function. So, yeah, man, did that answer your question?
I mean, yeah, I was I just didn't know if y'all were mining yourselves, and no, you're not. So, I mean, that's okay. But we got to discuss it anyways and explain to the audience kind of how that works and how they know. So that was a good move. Appreciate that. And I mean, if anybody is looking to plug in miners, give me a holler. We do have electricity available.
Well, hey, look, by the way, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you some questions. So, what do you do? Like, why do you have electricity? Are you you're a solar guy? What are you doing?
I just I fell off the back of a truck, right? So I work in oil and gas, and I've been looking for good flared gas, meaning no H2S at high volumes. And that's what gets you to the point to where you can use regular generators. You don't need a fancy turbine. There are micro turbines out there that will burn 100,000 ppm H2S gas, but they're a lot more expensive, and it's just there's a safety concern with messing with H2S. But that's the most flared gas that's out there is this dirty gas. Now the other category is this clean gas that's associated with production as well, and so we got some of that. That's 93% methane. 0 H2S, which is like pipeline ready gas. And we've got that at 700 MCF a day. And I have that through a connection with one of my friends. Of course, I work in oil and gas. And so I found out about this gas and that they could not successfully get it into a pipeline. It was going to cost too much money, couldn't get the permit from the government. And so the only thing they could do with it was set it on fire so they could produce their oil. And that's what they're doing with it. So ever since then, I've been finding a way to get this one put together and out the door per se, and get the equipment for the electricity production financed, and then either get the ASICs financed or put together a hosting plan to host for other miners, as well as like develop the huts if we need to, build the huts, etc. But the operator in this case does not want to spend any money at all, and they don't want to own any of the project at all. And on top of that, the operator already mines himself at home. And so there's like no convincing this guy. He's been mining Bitcoin for a while, and he's like, yeah, I'll sell you the gas, but I don't want anything to do with it. And so therefore it's like impossible to get them to participate, which means the price for everything just went up every time you have somebody that doesn't want to participate, essentially. And so now, we're trying to get the whole thing financed, but it's not easy because of the market. We have the power financed, and we're looking. We might reach out to some people overseas. I've heard, some people. There's a group in the UAE, in Dubai, apparently, that's financing ASICs, and so we may look for financing and do the whole mining thing ourselves if we can't find a good deal for a hosting situation where we simply just sell people power and we become like a power company, right? And we're just able to say, okay, we can sell you power for 5 cents, right? And we're not going to make jack shit off of it because the cost for the gas itself is 2.5 cents, and then you have the cost of the power equipment, and you can spread that out over 10 years, and you can thin it out. And you can pay off your equipment, but there's still maintenance costs, etc. So you just run the company as a power company. But 5 cents is crazy rock bottom. It's most commercial rates are 6 cents these days, and so like going with a commercial rate isn't going to cut it for mining. You like from what I'm being told, really you got to be down like below 6 cents, closer to 4.5 cents than not. And really on that 4.5 cents. So I'm trying to come in at 5 cents. I'm trying to find a way to kind of split the baby, and that way everybody still makes a little bit of money. You still feel good about your long-term deal at 5 cents, like a guaranteed 5 to 10 year contract at 5 cents is what I'm trying to produce right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hey man, well thank you. I appreciate. Listen. We done had some really incredible people come up on stage. Thank you for coming through, Tom. It looks like, did you run for office or something? I was looking at you.
I ran for Railroad Commission. It's an oil and gas statewide position. There's 3 railroad commissioners, 3 seats for that commission. And they govern oil and gas production, not the railroad, nothing to do with the railroad, everything to do with oil and gas. So hit me up. I'll be running again, I believe, in 2 years. I can't announce that officially. No, not really a wise thing to do, but it looks like I'm going to be leaning into doing that. So if you want to see what's up between now and then, give me a follow. You might be surprised about some of my opinions. Like I went after Greg Abbott, the Republicans, for the price of electricity doubling in Texas. They slid that tax right past us, So I go after all these people. I don't care, I don't care who you are. I'll go after if you try to do the people of Texas wrong. But I appreciate the time, sir. Y'all have a good one.
All right, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for coming up. That was awesome.
Well, Lamar, if he's in Texas, he should be coming to BitBlock Boom.
Yes, he definitely should.
I mean, he could drive his car probably. I mean, it could take him 8 hours, 9 hours, as big as Texas is, but he could drive his car there.
He needs to come on up to BitBlock Boom, especially if he's in the Energy Commission and he understands the price of energy, right?
Yeah. They meet a lot of people who are mining Bitcoin, I would think. Hey, where at on Facebook are you? I was trying to find this so I could share this, but I mean, is this on Facebook? You have a Facebook page. What's the scoop? Where do I go? What do I search for?
BIGMARH. I am BIGMARH everywhere. So if you go to facebook.com/BigMar, you'll find me there. And you can watch that video. You can watch that video there and you see all these beautiful comments coming in. Hey, what's going on? Let's see. People are talking back and forth to each other in the comments. What's going on, Maurice Parks? What's going on, Tommy Lee? Who else is down here in the comments? He said there are some opportunities to stack your sats more efficiently. Okay, then mining. That's what Mo's saying. And then he says, I'm cool. DCA for me since 2019. All right, hey, DCA all day, baby. That's my motto. If you heard somebody else say it, they got it from me. DCA all day. So look, Gary, man, this has been an amazing show. We tried some firsts this time. We did some stuff we ain't did before. And I think
live feed, live guests. I mean,
Yeah.
bringing up the websites. I mean, you're the man. I'm just sitting here. I'm just the talent. You're the
talent. You're the beauty. You're the beauty for the show. We need some beauty on the show, man. I appreciate that. But yeah, everybody, we're gonna probably wrap up this Bitcoin Roomies. This has been an amazing show. It's me, your boy Big Mar, and then my partner, my Bitcoin roomie, G Leezy out here. That's what we call him, G Leezy.
I didn't know all that.
Nah, but Gary Leland, man.
Just don't call me late to dinner. I mean, that's all I care about.
So that's it, man. Thank y'all for coming through the podcast. Again, it's been appreciative. If you want to find the podcast, you can find us at Black Bitcoin Billionaire on YouTube, on that channel. You can find us at Big Mar on Facebook. And of course, if you follow myself on Twitter, you can definitely find it there, and on the Black Bitcoin Billionaire. We got it spread everywhere. We move in all different places at all different times. So I appreciate you guys, man. Make sure y'all join us again next Thursday. Hold on. I love seeing this, Gary. You see that? You see the comment?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, great show. I enjoyed it. See you next time. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, we can take all the kind remarks we can get.
Yes, for sure. Listen, live love, love life. If you live love, you'll love your life. See you next time on Bitcoin Roomies with Big Mar and Gary Leland. See y'all later.
Keep stacking those sats. Keep stacking.